My name is Anthony Onderko, and this is my speech called The Life of the Xbox. So, who here plays video games? Did you know that 155 Americans play video games? 42% of these Americans play video games for 3 or more hours a week. So, the Xbox has been around for a while and has gathered quite the past. In the present, it's growing, and the future holds numerous new options, including virtual reality gaming. So, many people play video games. It's just grown constantly, and it's a big part of our culture now. And I've owned every Xbox console, and I've played a lot. Video games are just a hobby of mine. I've played a lot, and I've just gathered up quite like a database for the Xbox and all its things that I've just become well versed in it. And so first I will talk about Xbox's past, and then I will talk about Xbox in the present, and then lastly I will speak about Xbox's future and then virtual reality gaming. And so the main points will be organized in chronological order. The first part of Xbox I'm going to talk about is the past. It's where it all started. So Xbox has come such a long way from its past. The first console was called the Xbox. And in November of 2001, the Xbox was released for $299, and it sold well in North America, not in Europe or Japan. And one game that was released with it that people loved was Halo Combat Evolved. It was loved for just being such a great game at its time, and then an exclusive for the Xbox. And so, but the Xbox wasn't the only console at the time. They had the PlayStation 2 and then the GameCube. And the GameCube actually outsold the Xbox until a price reduction for the Xbox to $199. And Xbox Live came out a year after the Xbox came out in 2002. And allowed you to talk to people from all over. You could talk to someone in China, Russia, and then it was just an enormous success. Like, you never saw that at that time. It was such a big success, and it grew. It's been 14 years. And Xbox's second console, the Xbox 360, was released in November of 2005. It sold everywhere but, once again, Japan. And they made the console too fast. It would break from use, and it was called the Red Ring of Death. And pretty much you would have to send your console in to get it fixed. It was not a good time. They extended the warranties. But new and old game series have come to the Xbox 360. Halo has come back, and then Gears of War has started its series. And in 2009, they released the Kinect, which allowed you to interact with your Xbox with hand movements and then voice commands. And then they made improvements to Xbox Live, which were a party system, and you could make your own avatar. And so other consoles out during the Xbox 360's time were the Nintendo Wii and the PlayStation 3. And so while the Xbox did have a good run, the original Xbox, Xbox Live ended in April of 2010. Xbox Live was shut down, and you couldn't talk to anyone, you couldn't play games online anymore. Yeah. So the next part of Xbox I'm going to talk about is the present. The present of Xbox is very fruitful, and the third console is called the Xbox One. So it was released in November of 2013, $499 with the Kinect. And the Xbox One sold better than the 360, which sold better than the original Xbox. And the games for the Xbox One have had better graphics and more content now than previous ones. And so, new game series and old ones have once again returned. Returning ones include like Batman Arkham Knight, they returned. And a new game is called Titanfall. Titanfall, Xbox exclusive. And so the Xbox One can play games for fun, but it can also play apps for entertainment. So you could watch TV on the Xbox One now, and all the apps carried over from 360, YouTube, Netflix, along with new ones, and they're always adding more weekly, monthly, whenever. And so the Kinect, you can now give it like improved voice commands. So you can tell it to launch games, Xbox, go to Titanfall, Xbox on, to turn that console on and off now. And so, while the Kinect's improved, Xbox Live is improved, increasing the amount of friends you could have, and you could share games with other families and friends now. In June of 2015, they announced backwards compatibility, so you can play 360 games on your One. They currently have over 100 you can play, and they're free just as long as you own the game. And so, other consoles for the Xbox against the Xbox One are PlayStation 4 and Nintendo's Wii U. And so, while the 360 came out in 2005, it still has juice left in its system, surprisingly. And so they announced this program a while ago called Games for Gold, which pretty much was, let's give them free games, 2 free games a month, and then as long as they pay for the service, they receive those games. They decided to add that to the Xbox One, and so you get 4 free games just for paying for Xbox Live a month. And so they released new games for the Xbox 360 as well, but they have to tone down the quality. And eventually the Xbox Live could be shut down for the 360, but that could probably take a while. So the last part of Xbox I'm going to talk about is its future. Xbox's future is going to be a little more involved with science fiction. So Microsoft has partnered with Oculus VR to work on the Oculus Rift. And so Palmer Luckey, who was the creator of the Oculus Rift, he was 17 when he started this, and he caught the attention of Mark Zuckerberg, and he actually bought the prototype for $2 billion. And the Oculus Rift has come such a long way, and its release date is March 28th. And so, you can pre-order it for $600, and you would receive, the headset, the sensor, the Xbox One controller because of the partnership, and an Oculus remote to navigate menus. And so, the Oculus Rift is very complex. It's got these lenses that let you see into the virtual reality world, and the screen projected is like looking through binoculars. And there's 12 plus sensors, and this will immerse you into the world of virtual reality. So it'll be like you're actually there. There's games made just for the Oculus Rift, but through Windows 10 you'll be able to play Xbox One games. And other VR consoles include the HTC Vive, PlayStation VR, and the HoloLens. And there's side effects to using the Oculus Rift and other virtual reality consoles. So there's motion sickness, and they have partially fixed it, but there's tips that they have, which include take breaks, don't play for 10 hours straight. And so the Xbox One is still kind of new, but it has a long future. So it came out for $500, but now its price has been reduced to $350. And they'll probably release games. They will release games in the future, like Gears of War 4, Crackdown 3, and so on. There'll probably be a new console be announced eventually, though. Will it be the Xbox 2, Xbox 720? And with that, you're familiar with Xbox's past, present, and future. So as I said, Xbox has been around and gathered quite the colorful past. The present shows that the Xbox has grown as a system, and the future will be interesting to see what's in store for Xbox. So, a review of this is, the past has had 2 consoles, the original Xbox and the 360. Xbox's present has had the Xbox One, and the future shows the Oculus Rift with its virtual reality, and the Xbox One continuing in the future until a new console. And so remember that many people play video games. It's a big part of our culture now. And here's a quote by PewDiePie to wrap up my speech. Everyone has played video games at some point these days, and video games are fun. Thank you.